Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of April 3rd through April 7th. Where in part 2, we'll select our top swing trading stocks to watch. For our primary watch list, for our bullpen, we'll talk about our shopping list, and we'll also talk about ETFs, dividend payers, etc., as well as our options strategies. So a lot of things to discuss. I apologize for the slight delay. Again, I had some issues with my streaming machine, and we should be hopefully good to go. So let me know if everything seems to be working okay. Thank you, Nug M, Easy Mike, Tony Roses. Glad to see you all in the live chat today. Thank you for joining us. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. Again, this Google document where we keep our notes for our weekly trading game plans is publicly accessible. You should be able to find a link to this document in the description box below. We store these documents in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can also refer back to these notes as well as for previous weekly trading game plans. Again, you can find a link to that Google Drive folder in the description box below. Good morning, Ollie in the Bay, the Ricky Khan, Flip of the Shippa. Thank you all for joining us. Glad to see you all. Hope you're doing well. So if you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan titled Make Money Trading in April, we'd highly recommend you view that. That's got all our market analysis, our strategies, etc. for our weekly trading game plan, our input data for our weekly trading game plan for this week. Also, just a quick reminder that next Friday on the 7th, the markets are all closed for Good Friday, so we'll have a shortened trading week, and we'll talk about in part how we're taking that into account in the stocks that we're watching for this week. So firstly, we'll talk about a couple trades that we made the past week. We'll look at those, talk about how we're playing these going forward. We traded in and out of SOXS. SOXS is the short on semiconductors. It's a leveraged ETF. Again, we had that on our watch list, and as you'll see, we entered on the 30th. We got stopped out on the 30th for break even. As we'll see, it started up and then rolled over, and then we got back in cheaper on the 31st at 16.29. So we're back into SOX, cheaper than our initial entry point, and we'll talk about how we're watching the resistance level on SOX L as our determinant for when to enter that. Good morning, John. Walter Lyons, thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Also, we finally got stopped out of our latest position in USOI. USOI is the Credit Suisse ETN on oil. We've been holding that for about a month. So we got break even on the price appreciation, but we collected a $2.84 per share dividend for the March monthly dividends. So congratulations to all our fellow BeachBum traders who made money on the SOX trade and or the USOI trades over the past week or so. And again, we'll look to re-enter USOI. We talked about oil yesterday, how it's pretty much range bound between 70 and 80. If oil dips down towards 70 or below, we may look at getting back into USOI to collect the monthly dividend for April. Again, as we noted, this is a Credit Suisse ETN, and the fate of these ETNs, USOI, GLDI, SLBO, is a little bit indeterminate. So we thought it was safest to get out at this time, reduce the risk in case they do discontinue those. So we'll take a look at these charts in Webull, these trades in Webull in a second, but just a quick reminder, if you want to get real-time trade alerts, so when we enter or exit trades, you can get that by joining any level of our Patreon. Again, we don't recommend you blindly follow us or anyone else in your trading. However, if you would find it helpful to see when we enter and exit trades, and what we're entering and exiting. You can join our Patreon. You'll get email notifications as soon as we enter or exit a trade. And these also then get posted in alerts channels in our Discord, to which our Patreon members have access as well. So we also have automated price alerts coming from Thinkorswim. And you can see those got triggered at our target prices for SOXS. And then if we follow that up with an actual trade, we'll either post it in response to that Thinkorswim alert or in the alerts channel, so you can see also where we had sold the cash secured put. We'll talk about that on Disney, etc. So again, if you would find it helpful to help you succeed, make money in your trading, to see the trades we're making, any level of our Patreon will give you access to that information. So we'll quickly look at SOXS. Again, we entered, got stopped out. So we entered on the 30th in the low, 1660s. You can see that's where the support line was. So we had a buy there. And then it popped up a little bit and then rolled over again. So we got stopped out of there. And then, we were watching SOXL. For a peak. I actually put this order in before I took my siesta for the day. We'll look at SOXL again in a minute. But it got triggered pretty much at the end of day on Friday. So we'll be looking for, hopefully a gap up off that resistance level in SOXL. And I'll show that in a minute. Actually, I can show that now. Let's just bring up SOXL. So the trigger point for my entries into SOXS, it's kind of hard to find the bottom on some of these leveraged ETFs. So what I'm really looking for is there's a pretty heavy resistance in SOXL at about 1840. It's a little bit easier to see in FinViz. So again, I'm watching for it to hit that resistance level and get rejected from that resistance level around 1840. So if you're not already in SOXS, I think there's still opportunities. Again, this is going to be, short-term choppy trades. When it gets rejected off that resistance, and then, I'll be manually putting a stop in there, take my profit, because there is significant strength in some of the semiconductors. So easy Mike is picking on me about my sleep patterns, huh? So here's USOI. Again, we'd held that for about a month. You see it finally dipped down, or finally got back up to, where it was profitable from a price appreciation standpoint. Its ex-dividend dates, I think, are around middle of the month, so 314, 315. So we'll see if it happens to decline back down here or lower. You can see the low point is, somewhere around 67. So anywhere around, 67, 68 would be a good entry point. You see how much it had run up recently with oil. So now we'll talk about our main watch list and what we have on our real-time watch list for this week. Again, this is the ones we're watching in real time. I have my automated systems that send me alerts as these are moving up or down. First, I'll quickly just talk about our changes to our watch list. So we're going to take Disney off of our watch list in terms of a share purchase. However, you'll see we had previously sold a cash secured put on Disney at the 85 strike price for the April expiration date that we're looking to buy back cheaper. But as you'll see, Disney has run up. It's nearer or over 100 now. So we're not looking at purchasing the shares at this point, but we'll look at buying back that cash secured put, take a profit, and then we'll rinse and repeat that strategy as we go forward. DNN's one of the uranium stocks we've been watching. We've been talking about the sector rotation in and out of uranium. So we've got a couple on our watch list that we've been talking about for a couple weeks, both DNN and you'll see UROY, or our uranium plays for sector rotation into uranium. Grow we've had on our watch list for a couple weeks. We haven't entered that yet. It's been pretty flat, just choppy flat. We're adding IPI. We talked, I think it was last week, about potash and a couple stocks that we were watching for potash. And you can hear that discussion in more detail in a bonus video via this link in the notes. So I snipped out that discussion on potash stocks into a short video. Again, you can access that via this link in the notes. METC, we also talked about the rotation in and out of coal, and METC is our preferred stock to watch for that rotation in and out of coal. You'll see it does pay a small dividend. Palladium, Easy Mike was talking about palladium yesterday. We've been watching PALL. It did run up a little bit, so we'll see if we get a dip in palladium. It's not my favorite. It's not optionable. It's got a very long cycle to get a 2-to-1 risk reward. But if palladium does bottom out, we might play that with the PALL ETF. Talked about SOXS. Again, we're watching the entry point via the resistance on SOXL, which is the long levered ETF. It's got a good resistance at 1840. Again, I put my order in, before I took my siesta, thinking it might come close or hit that resistance and bounce down. So we'll see. Talked about UROY is our other uranium play. And then the other one I want to add back is where we talked about the VIX and how the VIX has been declining over the past week after the bank collapse, short panic. It's been steadily declining. It's approaching, below, I don't have the chart up. If it's below 19, we'll look at it in a second. Let me see where the VIX is right now. We can jump over here. I put it in here so we could look at it. So right now, yeah, it's under 19 right now. So you'll see the low point on the VIX is about 1706. So again, UVXY is the leverage long on the VIX, but I'm watching the actual bottom in the VIX to trigger an entry in UVXY, because again, these leveraged ETFs tend to deteriorate. Just they have a time decay, so it's going to keep going down and will bottom before the VIX actually bottoms. So again, that would be a trigger point on UVXY is when the VIX, if it drops below 18, I might take it, but the bottom would be 1706. So again, we'll look at the charts of those others in a second, and Webull as well. But if you our Patreons, any level of our Patreon, get access to an automatically generated web page that has our watch list. It's daily, updated daily, and it also has price targets, buy and sell price targets, as well as ex-dividend dates, dividend information, amounts, yields, optionality, etc. So if you'd like access to that daily updated web page with our watch list, any level of our Patreon has access to that. Also, if I make any changes during the day or before or after that web page is generated, I post that in a stocks watch list channel in our Discord that our Patreons also have access to. So you can see when I added METC to the watch list, I posted that in the stocks watch list channel. So if you'd like to get more frequent updates and price targets to our watch list items, any level of our Patreon has access to that information. So in a second, we'll jump over to Webull and we'll look at the charts for each of those. Thank you for your positive feedback, Ollie in the Bay. Ollie in the Bay says the Patreon is money well spent. We certainly hope so. We try to add as much value as possible and keep the pricing, as low as possible. If there are other ways that we can add value and make it even more valuable, we'd welcome that input. Okay, you can see the Webull still offering 12 free stocks. So if you're not already using Webull, you can get 12 free stocks worth $3,000 to $3,000. So as you see, we primarily use Webull for market analysis, our due diligence, the majority of our trading. So you can find our affiliate link to Webull in the description box below. We would appreciate that additional support as well. Okay, so we'll look at DNN. DNN is one of our uranium plays. You can see it's popped up quite a bit. We like it ideally down around 91, but anywhere under $1. You can see it's hitting that support, that pivot point level, so we might get a bounce down. We also saw Friday was a short rotation out of uranium, although it had been strong for the week, as we can see. So if we get a little pullback, maybe we'll be able to get into either DNN or UROI. If I look at UROI, it looks very similar. It popped up against that support level. Last week, we had gotten in the low 2s and gotten stopped out. Now we're looking at it around 193, which is the recent low. It looks like it made a double bottom there. So again, if we get a pullback in uranium, we might get UROI and or DNN on that uranium pullback. Grow, we've been talking about for a while. You can see it's been kind of flat. I can zoom in a little bit. It's just been choppy flat. We haven't pursued that yet. It does pay a small dividend. They do have investments in cryptocurrency as well as gold. Here's the potash play that we talked about, IPI. So you kind of see in the longer term chart, it looks like, it's got a pretty good bottom there. We just want to see a swing up. We'd like it, around that 25 area. 25.25 is the recent bottom, and then it bounced up a little bit. Here's coal, METC. Again, I missed that little dip there. It was a little bit higher than my target, but we'll see if we get a rotation out of coal. We might take that one. Palladium. Again, it ran up a little bit. So I'd like a bottom, 125 or so to get the maximal risk reward. The upside's in the 280s. So, but again, it's a very long-term cycle. So you see it's been declining for quite some time. May have established a bottom now, but it's butting against that pivot point. Talked about SOXL and SOXS. So again, you can see this resistance, around the 1840 level. Also, as we talked about last week, SOXS and SOXL, they seem to be respecting these pivot points. They tend to get rejected off the upper ones and then bounce off the lower ones. You can see it's, kind of a two level, constrained by about 2 levels. So again, I'm not looking at a long-term swing here. It'd be a short-term scalp, probably between two pivot points. So again, we'll see, we can see the deterioration in SOXS there. Okay, so now we'll look at our bullpen. Looks like you guys want to talk biotech again. We'll look at LabU, LabD. We talked about those last week as well. So our bullpen stocks, again, our bullpen's not ones that are currently in our real-time watch list. I don't run the automation against them right now, but I just revisit them at the end of the day, see if their setup has improved. Any that have a near-term, potentially positive setup, we add to the bullpen. And again, any changes that I make get added to our automatically generated web page. And then I would also post those to this stocks watch list appropriately. So right now we only have another uranium, UUUU. And you'll see it's just a little bit high right now, hasn't come down as far as I'd like it, but if it does, then we put it in the game, add it to our real-time watch list, and that would be another potential uranium play. Okay, so now we'll look at our ETFs and our ETF spreadsheet. So if anyone has you guys mentioned Lab U, Lab D, we'll look at those, see where those are. We can look at some of the other categories. So if you have a category you'd like to look at today, you can throw it up in the chat. We'll look at those. I'll bring this up while I talk about. So the past couple weeks, we talked about the best financial sector ETFs to trade, and I've snipped that out into a video that you can access via the bonus link in the notes. Also, we've talked about gold and silver ETFs. Again, as we discussed yesterday, gold and silver are both strong. I think there's more upside opportunity in gold and silver. They're both kind of testing resistance levels. Gold's around 2,000, silver around 24. But your short-term volatility, we talked about the ETFs to play for day trades, etc., versus long-term swings using gold and silver. So again, you can access that bonus video via the link in the description box below. So just a reminder, our All Access and VIP Patreons have access to this ETF Google Sheet 24/7. And as you'll see, it has updated pricing based on Google Finance functions. And then also we have an automated system that updates the support and resistance on a daily basis after market close. So I'll spin through these. You guys wanted to look at biotech specifically. So we can see here's Lab U. We see support around 406, 52-week low around 406. It is showing positive risk reward, as I mentioned in the past. So I don't particularly like biotechs longer term. Again, day trade, there's probably an opportunity there when it bounces off that support. Sometimes it moves with tech, as do the semiconductors, and sometimes those diverge. So there may be opportunities, and Lab U is the long on biotech, Lab D is the short. So you can see, biotech's been beaten down quite a bit. So if you guys want to, yeah, Lab U looks like Boyle. Well, it's a very similar scenario, right? Easy, Mike. I've been watching these cannabis guys, but they just seem to just keep declining. So I'm not. I'd like to see those turn up. Yin and Yang are the long and short on China. Really, again, day trade, short-term trades. I think the long-term trend is still bull in China. We're still long yen. I have not sold the covered call against that position because I'm looking to exit it when it becomes profitable, or at least I'll put a trailing stop in and manually trail it once it becomes profitable. And then we'll just see how long that holds up. We talked about coal. We're watching METC, like it around 802. You see it's got a halfway decent risk reward over 2. Been watching that. That's the dry bulk shipping, but it's it's a little bit high. FANG D, I'm staying away from. Again, we've talked about that. I think the FANG stocks, the mega cap tech stocks are being treated as a flight to safety. And so I'm not overly eager to try to short the FANGs. But again, you can see, if you want to take that as a very short-term trade, if they do pull back or take some profits in the FANGs, there's an opportunity there. But again, I would be careful with those because any flight to safety, they're pumping money into the FANGs. Talked about gold and silver stocks or ETFs, so you can see the discussion on that. Cold and boil. We talked about how natural gas is, very low right now. It's kind of range bound between 2 and 3 right now. So we're still long boil at this point, but I'm not looking to add to that position right now. Talked about real estate. Everything's kind of, in the middle right now. Talked about SOXS. We've talked about silver. Talked about treasuries yesterday and how they've run up. So TMF, TLT have been running up. Again, I expect a correction in price. However, continued flight to safety is going to continue to push treasuries up. Utilities, still a little high. And then we talked about, the VIX volatility, the leverage on the VIX. There is also the VXX. But again, you see the risk rewards a little bit better with UVXY versus VXS. Okay, does anybody else have any other categories you want to look at? Look at the risk reward on our potash guy. So you see it's got a decent risk reward. Okay. If anybody would like us to do, research on other ETFs, just let us know. We can, research them and see if we want to add them. Or if you have another category, you can see all of our ETF related videos in the ETF playlist. Okay, so let's talk about our shopping list stocks. The concept of the shopping list is, have your list of stocks ready that you always want to buy, and you're just looking for the opportunity, that they become cheap, or you get an irrational reaction to earnings, or, irrational reaction in the market. But again, we want you to make sure that your shopping list stocks, are not vulnerable to the bank collapse, the ongoing bank collapse. We don't know what all's going to happen in those regards. So I personally am staying away from the banks and have no intention to try to trade those. But if you do, we've had several discussions in those regards. Again, we talked about the financial ETFs. So you can access all those videos, previous discussions via the links in the notes or on our channel. Talked about zombie stocks, and again, I expect more of these to go under as their interest rates go up. They can't refinance their debt. They can't get more debt. Liquidity, loans are going to be difficult. Venture capital is difficult. So I think we're going to see more of these zombie companies go under. They probably won't be acquired either because of their debt. So I wouldn't be touching anybody that's a zombie company either. And then yesterday we talked about the probability, the time frame for a recession. It's not anytime soon, probably, that we would technically be in one, although we may in reality be in a recession. It'll be could be 6 to 9 months that we're actually in a recession before technically the economic data shows up that says, yes, in fact, we're in a recession. ULE, Walter's asking about ULE. Which one's ULE? I'm not offhand, not familiar with that. So just a quick reminder, on our homepage, we've got a lot of our trading tools in the link section. Our homepage is beachbumtrading.com. So if I want to bring up FinBiz, I can click there. I can look up ULE. Okay, so that's a euro. So we can look at euro real quick. Looks like it's pretty high. So yeah, it's pretty high. We're not in it. We haven't been in it for quite a while. Looks like it's got some resistance, and it's kind of just sitting in the middle of the channel right now. So. Okay, so let's talk about some of our other trade ideas, some other ways. Again, we've been talking that given this, range-bound, choppy market, it's not terribly conducive to swings, longer-term swing trading. It's okay for short-term swings, day trades, etc. But again, you have to be nimble because again, it's been very choppy. We haven't really had any follow-through, any steady trends. So in the meantime, to make money while we wait, we've been piling into dividend paying stocks and also our option strategies to generate additional income. So one of the ways we're doing that again is buying dividend paying stocks. And as you see, we're taking advantage of the ex-dividend dates and the price appreciation. So we're going to buy it before the ex-dividend date at a good price, collect the dividend. Then if it price appreciates, we're going to put a stop in. If we get stopped out, that's fine. We get the, like we did USOI, we get the dividend plus the price appreciation, and then we rinse and repeat, buy it back again, cheaper. So that's kind of our strategy. So I'll bring up the dividend payers spreadsheet while we talk about it a little bit. Again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to this dividend payers Google Sheet 24/7. So if you're looking, for potential opportunity during the day, during the trading week for a potential dividend payer, we find this very helpful. Also, just a reminder, we have an automated feed for dividend hikes in the dividend channel, in the investing channel in our Discord. That channel and all the rest of the channels in our Discord are free to join, freely available to everyone. So you can see as anyone announces a dividend hike, it'll get automatically posted in that dividend hike channel. And I'll throw the link to our Discord up in the banner as well. And you can find it in the description box below. We'd love to have you join us. Again, a lot of news, automated news feeds, etc., as well as a great community of traders that all help each other. Also, we've been, developing this dividend payer spreadsheet for a while. So if you'd like to see how we've developed it, what our strategy is with dividend payers, there's a link where you can see our series of videos on how to find the best dividend paying stocks via the link in the notes. So Easy Mike, I know he likes JEPI, JEPQ. We can talk about those. TLT. Let me grab a drink a second and zoom this in a little bit. We've got quite a few in here. Again, I don't particularly got some issues with CVS. Let me see JEPI, there's GLDI. That's one we already own a big chunk of. Again, if that position becomes profitable and price appreciates, we'll be looking to exit that. That's a Credit Suisse. ETN, we've collected a lot of dividends on that. I believe that's a financial. Here's JEPI and JEPQ. Again, they both pay a monthly dividend. You can see about 40 cents. You can see when the ex-dividend dates are. So I would expect first of the month again. Here's METC, the coal one we're looking at. It paid a special dividend. 3M has legal issues. Believe that's a mortgage-backed REIT. Don't like that. We've been watching OPP. We were in OPP. A very nice 10 cent per share dividend. Again, I'd like to get it back around, around 8. But yeah, we're definitely going to see if we can get another large chunk of OPP prior to the next ex-dividend date, which is probably around, April 14th. See, SOXS does pay a dividend. TLT, Easy Mike was mentioning, so it's got a 25 cent monthly dividend. This is a small oil and gas. Unfortunately, they're losing money. I've looked at them a couple times, but again, since they're losing money, I'm not that excited about it. So again, I find this very helpful, if I'm looking to park some money in a dividend payer, and the market's just choppy. I use this Google sheet, figure out when the ex-dividend dates are, where's what kind of a price appreciation. The adjusted yield takes into account both the declared dividend and the potential price appreciation. So again, we hope that this will help you if you're looking for dividend payers to park some cash in, and if you want to, develop a dividend payer strategy for income. You can see the frequency of the dividend, when the ex-dividend dates are, when the pay dates are, etc. So we hope that will help you, generate another source of income as well. And again, if you have anything that you'd like us to run research on as a potential addition to our dividend payers, just let us know. You can tag us in the Discord. Ask any questions, or we also have a suggestion box in the Discord, so you can always put it in there. You can always contact us via any of our other social media sites. So any questions, if you'd like to see enhancements to any of our Google Sheets, our community, improvements to our videos, etc., you can put them in the suggestion box in the Discord, or contact us via any of our social media sites. You can find those links in the link section on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com. TMF, John's asking about TMF. I can bring that one up. We own TMF, and I believe recently they paid out a additional dividend. So TMF, currently it's showing only a 3-cent quarterly dividend. So again, I believe recently they did pay out an additional special dividend recently. And we've been holding TMF for a while. That's a long-term swing on treasuries. It has appreciated. If it does become profitable, I would exit that. We have sold covered calls against it, very long-dated covered calls. So if they get called away, that's fine. That would be profitable. Or if TMF declines again, I'd look to buy back that covered call cheaper. Okay. So we'll talk about our option strategies. Again, as you can hear, one of our option strategies is, selling covered calls, buying them back cheaper. So we sell covered calls when one of our positions is going up, buy it back cheaper when it's going down. Keep the difference in premium as a profit, rinse and repeat. So you can see, our overall strategy for puts. Also, we sell cash secured puts when stock's going down, buy it back when the stock's bouncing back up. So again, you can see our criteria for selling puts in the notes here, and we'll be looking at our puts ROIC Google sheet, and this is what I watch to find opportunities during the day for potentially selling puts. And we'll talk about some of the ones we've sold recently or trying to sell, and potential other opportunities as well. Also, I wanted to mention that I just added a link to these options bar chart options section from barchart.com. I'm looking for additional ways to identify opportunities to sell puts. So in the tools tab of this puts ROIC spreadsheet, I added these two links, and I'm starting to investigate these tools in barchart.com. So if anyone has any recommendations, experience with using these tools on barchart.com, love to hear your feedback. Again, I'm just starting to explore if these may be additional ways to help us identify additional opportunities to sell puts. And again, we've been doing a whole series of videos on our development of this puts ROIC Google Sheet, our option strategies in general. So you can hear that whole series of videos via the link in our notes here. And also we have a lot of additional videos on options, how to sell options, etc. In our options YouTube playlist. So as I mentioned, we've already sold one on Disney at 85 for April, so I'm looking to buy that one back. It was depreciating, and if Disney continues to go up, then we'll sell that and take the profit. We had sold one on Tesla, same thing. Tesla's gone up, so it was declining. The nice thing about our puts that we sell is they naturally decrease in price just from deterioration. I think they call that theta decay. So the longer I wait, the cheaper they get. So we'll look at buying those back, or they could expire worthless on April 21st, and we keep the whole premium. So I am trying to sell one against Google at 85 for May. As you can see, it has a nice fair value. I want to get it, I want to sell it over $1. So I want to get at least, $100 for selling each put. So I think I've got my sell out something like 113 or something like that. So, but these ones that have a high fair value are getting triggered. I've been looking at Moderna, but the prices are pretty low. So I'm kind of waiting for the price of that to also get up over $1. I've been looking at some of these others, Apple again, but the prices are just too low. It's just not worth it. And then our research tab is just, others. I've been watching AMD. AMD's been pushing up, maybe, and again, the prices are pretty low. This is a financial. I don't want to touch those. PayPal, again, payment systems. I don't want to touch those. So again, if you'd like us to add and do the research on any other options for potentially selling puts, just let us know. And again, we'll be trying to look in more detail at these bar chart tools and see if those are additional ways that could help us. So I see you guys are talking about cannabis ETFs. We looked at MJ and MSOS. So either one, you can, in our ETF Google Sheet, you can see the comparative risk reward between MJ and MSOS. I see Easy Mike says he likes MSOS. So again, we'll continue to look for opportunities both in dividend payers and in selling puts, particularly if we do get a pullback in the market. We might get one given the exuberant run we've had towards the end of last week. We might get a pullback, and that might give us an opportunity to sell some puts again. It might be a little higher, although the decreasing VIX, the decreasing volatility, obviously makes the pricing less attractive. So. Okay, so if anyone else has any other questions, and if I missed your question, I apologize. Please throw it back in the chat, and I'll try to answer that. We had a question last week from Tony Price under our Best Uranium Stocks to Buy video asking about UEC. So we produced a video. We talked about it last week. I snipped that out in a separate video of our thoughts on UEC. And you can see our answer to that question in the bonus link in our notes. Okay, again, if anyone has any further questions, please, you can put them in our Discord, tag us at BeachBum Trading in the Discord so we get notified. Like we have another imposter, I'll have to deal with them. So as you could see, our profile is 7313. So any other profile in there is an imposter. So that person is an imposter. They will be banned as soon as I end the stream. Again, we have a Facebook group as well, so you can ask it in the Facebook group. We have a Reddit community, and you can find the links to all of our other social media sites in the link section on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com. So I'll throw that up in the banner as well. Again, if you post your question, we'll try to respond as soon as we're able. So I hope you all have a great trading week. Again, reminder, next Friday, the markets are closed for Good Friday. So we got 4 days to make some money trading. So let's help each other out, help each other succeed in your trading. Please invite your friends, fellow traders to join us both for these live streams and in our BeachBum Trading community and our Discord. Again, our Discord's free to join. And again, great community of traders helping each other out, helping each other learn and succeed in their trading. So we hope you and all your friends and fellow traders will join us. So have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on the trading floor. Have a great day.